Hey and welcome back to my vlog. I decided to try something new and because I recently watched a very nice movie called Darkest Hour, which is actually on Netflix, so you can check it out. I want to talk about it here because why not? I mean, maybe through this vlog I could make a review of the movie. So yeah, this movie is mostly about the Second World War from the British point of view. So now to just create a little bit of the background of the movie, we know that the movie takes place in the Second World War, so we're in the 1940s, something about that, and we know that we had King George VI. So now to begin with the storyline of the movie, the action begins during the Second World War when Mr. Chamberlain was the Prime Minister and he made a really bad decision that led England to losing some battles. Then the government decided and really wanted the Prime Minister to resign and to be replaced by someone else. Winston Churchill was part of the Conservative Party and he wasn't liked and wasn't considered an option by his party to be nominated for being the Prime Minister because he had many failures as well in some other battles. He was proposed to be Prime Minister because the opposition, the Labour Party, liked Winston Churchill for some reason. So he was chosen mid-crisis because the whole country was headed towards losing the war. He refused to listen to the others and always did as he wished. Even in the cabinet meetings, he always wanted to do it his way because he knew what Hitler had in plan for this war. So that's why he didn't listen to all the others that said, let's sign the peace treaty with Germany and have our country somehow saved from the war. And he said, no, we're gonna fight and we're gonna obtain this. He even chose to take the subway for one station and to talk to normal people. And I liked one of his lines here. When he walked into the underground, people were staring at him and he asked them, why are you staring at me? Haven't you seen a prime minister taking the underground? And that was that was a funny line. I really liked it. He said, quote, our policy is to wage war, unquote. So I think that fighting for his idea shown the crown, the parliament, and the people that he was very hardworking, and if he wanted something, he would get that. The point is that the movie focuses on how Winston Churchill became Prime Minister during the war. So one thing that I thought it was very interesting about this movie was that throughout his journey as becoming a Prime Minister, Winston Churchill always had a person to turn to and to ask for advice. And that seemed interesting how a man that is considered so powerful always had second thoughts about his work and about his actions, and always thought that maybe it's better to go to someone to ask for opinion. So in the first half of the movie, the person who Winston Churchill turns to is his wife, and after he earns the trust of the king, he also turns to the king. It is also pointed out how he respected his dactylograph, Miss or Mrs. Layton. So I think that it was very interesting how from three people that he turns to, two of them are women. And that somehow empowered me because I think that showing in a movie that women actually had power even in times when they were underappreciated, it was pretty nice to see. But now I want to talk about why I actually chose this movie, because it seems so unnatural for a 16-year-old to watch something about English history and wars and to watch a documentary basically. And besides unnatural, that seems really weird. I actually felt weird when the movie started, because backstory, when the coronacation started, I actually told myself that I'm gonna learn something this vacation while I'm staying at home, and I told myself that I want to watch things. If I'm spending all my day on the computer watching Netflix, at least watch something that will help me in the future. When the coronacation started, I began watching The Crown, the Netflix series, and it helped me a lot to understand this movie. So I really think that before watching this movie, you should really watch The Crown, because besides helping me understand, it also gives you a backstory, and it also shows some parts that the series did not really show, but the movie showed. Besides watching The Crown and all that, I chose to watch this movie to discover new things, and because I'm fascinated by the Second World War and how things happened back then and how different it was from now, but still how similar it is to these times. And I'm interested in a lot of things that have some connection with the Second World War. A documentary about history and learning something from it, I thought that it was more beneficial to me. And I think I learned a lot about the English history, about the government, about the Second World War, obviously, but mostly about how decisions were made and how the pressure that was on the people's shoulders back then, it was fascinating, truly fascinating. So I tried as much not to give spoilers of the end of the movie, even though it's history, and if you know some things about the Second World War, you basically know the end of the movie. And now to quote the main character of this movie, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." That was Winston Churchill, and this was my video about The Darkest Hour. See you guys next time.